Number 1. What's Eating You? This one wasn't mine, but from an EMT friend. It's also maybe not so much creepy as it is nasty, but it still makes my hair stand on end whenever I think of it. In one of the apartments in a nearby city, the apartment manager went in to investigate a really bad smell in one of the lower units. Apparently, people all around it were complaining. Once he saw what was up, he called 911. First responders show up, which includes said EMT friend. And then there's this lady sitting on the couch. There's also something squirmy going on down below in her underpants area. So they check her out, and in the process remove said undergarments. Out comes a swarm of maggots. Yes, her lady bits were covered in maggots. Apparently, the individual had a strong substance abuse problem. Some of the dirty needles he used caused an infection. This led to rotting flesh, which attracted flies, which in turn led to maggots. The worst part, though, was that she was still alive, so drugged up that she never noticed that she was literally rotting and falling apart from the waist down. Number 2. The Man with No Jaw. We went to an apartment which was a local drug den. A female we knew called and said the male renter had been assaulted and that she had ran. We got there and the door was bolted shut. I kicked the door over and over again and it wouldn't open. I found out later that the dope team had done a search warrant on the apartment a couple of weeks earlier, and afterwards the tenant had reinforced the door jamb with a metal plate. It took me a total of 22 times kicking the door before I broke the deadbolt in half, which flew across the room and hit the wall. We made entry, guns drawn, and started clearing the apartment. This place was the kind of spooky I've only seen in places where a lot of meth is done. It was dark. There were swastikas, upside down pentagrams painted on the wall, pictures of faces hung on the wall with their eyes X'd out, baby dolls with their eyes scratched out into X's. As we cleared the first room, we started seeing the blood. First on the bed, then a trail on the floor leading into the back room. The layout was weird. One main room, then a back room which was more of a hallway, and a bathroom at the end of that hall. We followed the trail of blood down the hall to the bathroom door. In front of the door was the renter's dog, who was shaking uncontrollably and pissing all over the floor, scared out of its mind. As we got closer, the dog got more aggressive. I made my way around the dog and entered the bathroom, where I found the renter hunched over in the shower, bleeding from his face, holding his cheeks with his hands. He was frantically trying to talk, pleading with us not to hurt his dog. Blood was dripping from his mouth, and I couldn't understand him. Then I saw the extent of what had happened to him. His jaw had been dislocated on both sides when he was beat by 2 men with a hammer, and it was just hanging there. As he was trying to plead with us, he could only attempt to talk by flicking his blood-covered tongue in the pattern of the words. Number 3. A body cut into little pieces. My aunt is a police dispatcher. Normally she takes calls from the public and has an officer nearby respond. But one day she was asked to work the station's radio because the normal guy was sick. That meant she was acting as the central hub of the police radio network, taking calls from officers in the field and issuing backup to them, that kind of thing. She wound up having to listen to 4 cops talking back and forth in a panic as 2 squad cars arrived to check on a reported murder. The person who called was certain that there were multiple killers present. The victim's meat had been cut into 1-inch cubes, as if the killer was going to fry them up or make kebabs. The whole corpse had been disassembled like that, bones cut into neat inch segments, organs removed, separated, and organized. She remembers one of the officers panic and scream something along the lines of, "This OCD monster bullshit." I can't remember the exact quote. Sadly, I doubt my aunt remembers it herself. She thought they were playing a joke on her until they called for a hazmat crew to come pick up the body.